Hello everyone and welcome back to our journey through human history. Last time we explored the Neolithic Revolution where humanity settled down and started farming. But our ancestors' ingenuity didn't stop there. Today we're diving into a new glittering era defined by a groundbreaking discovery: metal. This is the story of the Metal Ages, a period that would forge empires, invent writing, and reshape the world forever. Our story begins around 3500 BCE with the Chalcolithic, or the Copper Age. Imagine a world built on stone, wood, and bone. Suddenly, someone figures out how to heat a specific type of rock and extract a shiny reddish gold substance, copper. It was revolutionary. At first, this new material was likely used for small ornamental things, jewelry, maybe some decorative items. It was a status symbol. But soon, people realized you could shape it into tools. While not as hard as stone, copper was more durable and could be melted down and reformed. This wasn't a sudden switch. Neolithic life continued, but this new material sparked something crucial: increased trade and the early accumulation of wealth. Copper wasn't found everywhere, so getting it meant connecting with other communities, laying the groundwork for the complex networks to come. But copper had its limits. It was relatively soft. The real game changer was what came next: the Bronze Age. Starting around 3300 BCE, someone somewhere made a brilliant discovery. By mixing a small amount of tin with copper, they created a new alloy, bronze. It was much harder, stronger, and more durable than pure copper. This wasn't just an upgrade. It was a leap forward that powered the rise of the first great civilizations. And when we say civilizations, we mean large, organized societies with cities, governments, and social hierarchies. Think of it as humanity's grand urbanization project. And it wasn't happening just anywhere. It flourished in the fertile river valleys of the world. In Mesopotamia, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, the Sumerians, Akkadians, and Babylonians built magnificent cities. They gave us monumental temples called ziggurats, the wheel, and one of the most important inventions in all of human history: writing. Their script, called cuneiform, started as a way to track goods but evolved to record laws, stories, and the business of a complex state. Meanwhile, along the Nile River in Egypt, a unified kingdom emerged, ruled by powerful pharaohs. They developed their own beautiful writing system, hieroglyphics, and channeled their immense resources into building the pyramids, eternal monuments to their divine rulers. Their society was a marvel of complex bureaucracy, managing everything from grain harvest to massive construction projects. Over in the Indus Valley, in modern-day Pakistan and India, the Harappan civilization flourished. Cities like Harappa and Mohenjo-daro showcased incredible urban planning, with grid-like streets and some of the world's earliest known plumbing and sewage systems. They too had a script, but it remains a mystery, one of history's great undeciphered codes. And in China, along the Yellow River, early dynasties like the Shai and Shang were mastering the art of bronze casting. They created intricate bronze vessels for rituals and warfare, and their own form of writing, the oracle bone script, which was used for divination and is the direct ancestor of modern Chinese characters. What did all these civilizations have in common? The state. For the first time, we see organized governments led by kings or rulers with armies to defend their borders, tax systems to fund their projects, and clearly defined territories. And to get the tin needed for their precious bronze, they established vast trade networks that connected distant regions. From the mountains of Afghanistan to the shores of the Mediterranean, these weren't isolated pockets of humanity. They were part of an interconnected world. But this golden era of bronze wasn't destined to last forever. Around 1200 BCE, this interconnected world suffered a catastrophic collapse. Major empires and kingdoms like the Hittites in Anatolia and the Mycenaeans in Greece were utterly destroyed. Cities were burned, trade routes were severed, and literacy declined. This period, known as the Late Bronze Age collapse, was a dark age for the Eastern Mediterranean. The cause is still debated, but it was likely a perfect storm of factors: climate change leading to famine, internal revolts, mass migrations, and the mysterious invasions of groups known to the Egyptians as the Sea Peoples. The old world order crumbled, and the vital tin trade was disrupted. But out of the ashes of this collapse, a new and even more powerful age was born: the Iron Age. The secret to making iron had been known for some time, but it was difficult. It required much higher temperatures than bronze smelting, but with the tin trade gone, people were forced to innovate. And they perfected the process. The key advantage? Iron ore is one of the most common elements on Earth. It was everywhere. This had a democratizing effect. Bronze was expensive, the metal of kings and elites. Iron was cheap and abundant. Suddenly, high-quality metal tools were available to the average farmer, boosting agricultural productivity. And more importantly, entire armies could be equipped with strong iron weapons and armor, not just the elite guard. This new military reality paved the way for the rise of massive, powerful empires built on iron and conquest. The Neo-Assyrian Empire, for example, used its iron-wielding armies and sophisticated siege tactics to build a fearsome military machine, creating a vast empire run by an efficient and often brutal administrative system. They were followed by the Persian Achaemenid Empire, which became the largest empire the world had ever seen, stretching from India to Greece. They were master organizers, building infrastructure like the famous Royal Road to connect their vast territory and establishing a centralized rule that brought a new level of stability. The Iron Age wasn't just about war and empire. This era also saw profound intellectual and spiritual innovation. Coinage was invented, revolutionizing trade and economics. And it was a time of immense philosophical and religious development. Foundational ideas that still shape our world today emerged, including Judaism, Zoroastrianism in Persia, and the dawn of Greek philosophy. From the first glimmer of copper to the might of ironclad empires, the Middle Ages completely transformed human society. They gave us cities, writing, laws, global trade, and the very foundations of the classical world. It was an age of brilliant innovation and brutal conflict, of great kings and ordinary farmers, all shaped by humanity's growing mastery over the elements. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this journey into the Middle Ages fascinating, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next chapter in history. See you next time.